welcome back and now to the main news. I'm Flora Dioka. The convoy of President Muhammadu Buhari was attacked earlier yesterday near Dusama, Katsina State, and 2 policemen were killed. The presidency officials were traveling to Odora ahead of the trip of President Muhammadu Buhari to his hometown for the Salah holiday. The convoy to the president. The spokesman of the Katsina State Police Command, Gambo Isha, in a statement said that the police area for Dusama, Aminu Umar, and one other were killed in the ambush. Still looking at security stories, it was confirmed that the correctional center in Abuja Guje prison was attacked. A statement issued on Wednesday by Umar Abubakar, the spokesperson of the center, said, "I wish to confirm that at about 22 hours, some yet to be identified gunmen attacked the medium security correctional center Guje in Federal Capital Territory." The statement noted that squad of the service, in collaboration with other security agencies, responded to the attack during and added calm to the situation and restore peace to the facility. Unconfirmed reports claimed that during the attack, which lasted several hours, some inmates were said to have escaped from the correctional center, which is famous for holding high-profile inmates and suspects, including former governors and ministers. There are also speculation that the whereabouts of suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari was among those held in the facility. Moving on, there is a palpable concern about the whereabouts of suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari after bandits attacked the Guje Correctional Center Abuja, where he was kept. Gunmen attacked the custodian center in Guje Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Tuesday night, an attack which lasted hours. Report says that some inmates were said to have escaped during the attack on the facility that houses over 900 inmates. Prison source said that they have not seen him after the attack. However, when contacted, the spokesperson for the Nigerian Correctional Service, Umar Abubakar, said Kyari is not missing. Still looking at reaction trailing the attack on Guje prison, the coalition of civil society organizations in Katsina State on Wednesday requested the federal government to justify the money being spent on security by ensuring the safety of lives and property in Nigeria. The coalition made the demand while reacting to Tuesday's death of the police area commander in Dusama, APC Aminu Umar Inegandwa, was a terrorist. Coalition statement by Katsina Chairman Abdul Raham Abdul Lahi lamented the death of police area commander, insisting that the incident speaks volumes of inadequacy of Nigerian security system. In other news, the group of bandits which claim responsibility for the adoption of Abuja Kaduna train passengers early in March has again threatened to slaughter the remaining 51 victims. In an audio in circulation, which is believed to be a voice of one of the group members, the bandits threatened to slaughter the victims because the government failed to seek for their release. A Kaduna-based publisher took and that the group had fixed Wednesday today to carry out the threat. Some days ago, Memo raised an alarm over the health conditions of victims, as some of them were said to have been bitten by snakes and other reptiles. He later confirmed that one of the victims was shot as a warning to hasten the response to the agreement between the federal government and the bandit referred to as Asaru terrorists. Moving on, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has said that Nigeria is currently in a comatose state and needs a specialist like him to save its life. Obi, speaking to newsmen earlier today, said that he would not bend backwards to serve the vice presidential ticket negotiation between the Labour Party and the new Nigeria People's Party NNPP, whose presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso, and says he would not go into the 2023 election as Obi's running mate. Reacting to comments by the NNPP, Obi said 100 million Nigerians were in poverty today because of the mentality exhibited by his senior comrades and described Nigeria as patient in coma. which would immediately die without urgent intervention from an expert like himself. According to Obi, he said, quote, "We chose to vote incompetence based on primitive consideration of ethnicity and religion. My comments is let us campaign and deal with issues on the problem of the country." Obi explained that it was high time Nigerians choose their leaders on the basis of merit and competence, adding that Nigerians had previously always hired vehicle drivers to fly Nigerian airplanes instead of qualified pilots. Still on the 2023 election, the Labour Party presidential candidate Mr. Peter Obi has revealed that if elected as president of the country in 2023, he would engage in dialogue with those agitating for cessation across the country. Speaking on Wednesday, Obi said that he had observed issues of agitations, how it's been handled in other countries, noting that the agitation of most groups was birthed by poor leadership. The country, which, according to him, had been the issue with Nigeria over the years. Clearing the air on his reported support for indigenous people of Biafra, the former Anambra State governor said that he had never been involved in any cessation. He said, "I have never been in any agitation. I said that the agitation is because of leadership failure over the years. I'll engage them in dialogue if elected into power." From the Labour Party comes confirmation that the planned alliance between the Labour Party and the New Nigerian People's Party for 2023 election is a deadlock. This was made known by the Director General of the Peter Presidential Campaign Organization, Dr. Doyin Okbe, on Tuesday. According to Okupe, who is the placeholder as running mate to LP presidential candidate and former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, has said the plan had ended deadlock 4 weeks ago. Okupe disclosed that the negotiation became deadlock when LP side queried the emergence of a Muslim succeeding President Muhammadu Buhari, a Muslim from the north. Okupe said the emphasis here is this: we're looking for a young, vibrant politician of northern extraction with a measure of intelligence, sound background, and pedigree and education that is quite needed to solve the problem bedeviling this country. Moving on, as it became clear that talks between Labour Party and the New Nigerian People's Party to merge or align as a third force in the forthcoming election failed to produce the desired result, the coalition of Southeast youth leaders has advised the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, to consider an alternative running mate. The talks failed because while Peter Obi camp expected the former Kano State governor to be Labour's party vice presidential candidate, the Kwankwassians wants Obi to take the second position. The NNPP camp argued that Rabiu Kwankwaso has more experience and capacity to defeat the APC and the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and Bola Tinubu in the 2023 presidential election, stressing that Kwankwaso would pull 60% of votes in the north and should be fairly considered. But the supporters of Obi, known as Obedient, who are mostly youth, have warned Obi against accepting to be Kwankwaso's deputy, stressing that he would be elected as Nigerian president in 2023, even without the NNPP. Speaking with news on the controversy surrounding the major plan, Presidential General of COSLE, Goodluck Ebem, advised Obi to choose a youth from the north as his running mate and jettison plans to have Kwankwaso as his deputy. According to him, Peter Obi does not necessarily need Kwankwaso to win his election. Power belongs to God and the people. It is the people that decide who will lead them as president come 2023. And to some other stories, some state chapter of the People's Democratic Party have rejected calls of our lawyers of the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike for the sacking of the national chairman of the party, Dr. Yor Chiayu, over the crisis that arose after the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar failed to choose Wike as running mate. According to those opposed to the plan to oust Ayu as chairman of the party, asking Ayu to step aside at this point would affect the party's chances of winning 2023 presidential election. Embittered by the loss of the vice presidential slot to Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, the pro-Wiki camp had accused IU of supporting a party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, who allegedly failed to follow democratic practices in the selection of his running mate. Atiku had selected Okowa over Wiki despite the nomination of the Rivers State Governor by 14 of the 17-member selection committee. In other news, in his bid to fill vacancy created by the resignation of ministers who had resigned to contest the various party primaries for the 2023 general elections, President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday sworn in 7 new ministers who has been screened and confirmed by the Senate last Tuesday. The swearing-in ceremony were held at the Federal Executive Council meeting back in 2 batches of 4 and 3 each. The first 2 set were Henry Ikechukwu Iyo, Abia State, Umana Okon Umana, Akwa Ibom State, Udim Udum, Rivers State, and Ademola Adewale Adebori, Ondo State. The second batch included Umar Ibrahim Hey Yakub, Kano State, Goodluck Nana Opia, Imo State, and Egwamama Joseph Nkama, Ebonyi State. In a related development, 11 ministerial positions were affected by the cabinet's reshuffle that followed the swearing-in ceremony. Below are the list of Science and Technology: Mohazu Jabo Sambo, Minister of Transportation; Mana Okono Mana, Minister of Niger Delta; Sharon Ikezo, Minister of State, Niger Delta, formerly Minister of State Environment; Gbemisola Saraki, Minister of State Transportation; Umar Ibrahim Hey Yakub, Minister of State Works and Housing; and Goodluck Nana Opia, Minister of State Education; Ekumana Kaman Joseph Nkama, Minister of State Health; and Iko Henry Ikechukwu, Minister of State Science and Technology; Udi Odum, Minister of State Environment; Ademola Adewale Adebori, Minister of Transportation. The outgoing Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Mahmoud Sanusi Bakindo, has died at the age of 63. His death late on Tuesday night was announced by the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mela Kyari. Kyari tweeted on Wednesday morning, we lost our esteemed Dr. Mohammed Sanusi Bakindo. He died at about 11 p.m. yesterday, 5th July 2022. Certainly a great loss to his immediate family, the NNPC, our country at large, and the OPEC and global energy community. Burial arrangements will be announced shortly, he added. Bakindo had visited President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday. The disease was the third ex-NNPC GMD to have passed in 2 years. Moving on, a federal high court in Abuja on Wednesday granted permission to the former Imo State Governor Richard Okorocha to travel to United Kingdom on medical grounds. Justice Ian Lekoku granted permission, ordered that the registrar of the court to release the traveling passport of the former governor to him to undertake a medical trip. The order of the judge followed an application argued by the senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Olaolani Peko, who notified the court that his client had been living in health challenges in recent times. He argued that Okorocha, now a senator representing Imo North in the Senate, would not abuse the order and would return to the country for his trial. Although the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, represented by Chili Okroma, has sought to oppose the request, the agency soft-pedaled when Justice Ekoi explained that the request was granted with a caveat by the courts. And you're watching the news on One TV Network. The news return after this break, to stay with us. welcome back. If you have just joined us, this is One TV Network Global News. And now to some more stories. We'll talk business. Staff of Nigerian Railway Corporation (NNRC) have threatened to embark on an indefinite strike against the backdrop of protracted talks of improved welfare with no result in sight. The union regretted that 8 months after its 3-day nationwide warning strike, no significant achievement had been recorded. The workers have also deployed government's handling of the ongoing Academic Staff Union of University ASUU strike, observing that the current administration no work, no pay policy was disingenuous. It appealed to the federal government to swiftly reserve the impasse in the overall interests of the nation. In a statement yesterday by its President and Secretary Innocent Luka Gigi and Shegu Asen respectively, the Rail Workers Union challenged the government to rescue millions of Nigerian youth that are suffering from unnecessary tests of might, noting that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. In South Africa bids an emotional farewell Wednesday to 21 people, mostly teens, who died in unclear circumstances at the township tavern last month in an incident that deeply shook the nation. President Cyril Ramaphosa joined more than 1,000 people at the memorial service at the stadium in Scenery Park, a township in the coastal city of East London, where empty coffins were laid out to symbolize the loss. 11 days after the bodies were discovered in Eyimboni Tavern, the cause of the death remain widowed. The police are yet to wrap up the investigation, although officials have ruled out a stampede and autopsy results are still to be made public. Scores of the mourners filled a large muck while 19 coffins were laid out and hundreds more people gathered outside to the follow-up ceremony. The youngsters died in what survivors have described as a battle to escape the jam-packed venue, with one reporting a suffocating smell. In other news, security agencies in Conakry, Guinea have arrested the opposition organization, including its national coordinator, Fonike Magio, also known as Omar Silla. The arrest took place on Tuesday during a press briefing held at the headquarters of the coalition that aims for a return to constitutional order. The National Front for the Defense of Constitution, FNDC, has recently threatened to demonstrate against the military, junta led by Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, that replaced former President Alpha Condé. Speaking after the arrest, the coalition vowed to continue to fight for democracy. FNDC is a senestal of democracy, where I've decided to fight for return to constitutional order, said Ibrahima Diallo, FNDC operations staff. Adodwalaya Umamso, members of the FNDC, added, now that we see that we're no longer in rule of law, there's no longer an open door for dialogue. We see that we are in a dictatorship. We're going to fight this fight, and this fight is going to be led by the people of Guinea. And we call for the people to remain in action until Guinea becomes a virtuous democratic country. Another news, Sudan's main civilian blog, Forces for Freedom and Change, FFC, rejected a proposal by the country's coup leader to make way for civilian government as a giant ruse and urged more protest. The rejection was announced on Tuesday after a surprise move by the army Monday to make room for civilian groups to form any transitional government, according to Omar Digere, Freedom and Change. A recent speech by Armed Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan was misleading because on one, he wants the military to return to the barracks, but on the other hand, he wants to take the civilian power to the barracks. So the collision, this is the military way to reinforce their control over more than before. And we'll talk sport. George Shita, Taraba Director of Sport, has expressed satisfaction with the performance of Super Falcons in the ongoing 2022 Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco. Speaking in Tuesday, Shatima said that the senior national female soccer team will make Nigeria proud again at the tournament in spite of their unimpressive evening match against South Africa. Shatima said the team needed to start field preparations to be ready when they take on Botswana and Burundi in their remaining group matches. He urged the technical crew to do the needful before the next match. Nigerian Super Falcons lost 1-2 to Bayana in their first Group C evening on Monday. And still talking sport, Tunisian female tennis player Oz Jabeur has qualified to play in the semi-final at Wimbledon, the legendary London tournament. Jabeur, who qualified on Tuesday, has been ranked second in the world for the past 10 years. Not since South Africa, Amanda Coates have reached the semi-final of a Grand Slam tournament in 1997 as a player from the continent, being in the semi-final. Jabeur had to fight hard to get rid of Siege Maria Boskova after conceding to the first set 6-3, winning 6-1 in the next two sets. And with our news of sports, we've come to the end of the news, but before we go, a Bauchi reporter terrorist attack Buhari's advance team killed 2 policemen and correctional center Guji was attacked. Bandits have threatened to slaughter after 24 hours in South Africa as 21 youngsters killed in Tarven tragedy. And that was the news from One TV Network. Many thanks for watching. I'm Flora Duke. Bye for now.